YouTube, don't let me down. We are live. Hooray. So today I'm going to speak about why should we be doing business in China? Let me say that again. Why should we be doing business in China? It's a simple question that I get all the time. And there's a lot of noise online, a lot of headlines, a lot of people who have never actually lived or done business here. A lot of so-called China experts. The irony being that most China experts don't actually live in China. You would have thought if you're working in China for over a decade now, building businesses, building partnerships, and helping international companies enter the market, but also international companies that are already here that have got pain, requirements. I mean, I've got clients that have been here for 30, 40 years, but they just never had good marketing, positioning, PR. And so today, what I really want to talk about is the reality on the ground, because obviously we've got all these conflicts happening now. You've got the Iranian war, what's happening in the Middle East. But you're still getting this barrage of companies coming into China, which is really fascinating to see. I've had more inquiries in the last few weeks through my email and LinkedIn and through my WeChat about international companies coming into China and also Chinese companies going abroad than any other time. And I've been doing this business now, marketing, PR, expos, for 5-6 years. So it's a really interesting time. And I really want to talk about what's the reality on the ground here in China and why you should be here and why, as a Chinese company, you should also be looking to go abroad right now. Probably not the Middle East, probably not the best time, but it's what I really want to talk about is what people massively underestimate when they think about China. And by the way, you shouldn't be thinking about China. You're either in or you're out with China. You either want to do business here or you don't. And that's quite a good screening for me. If you're an international company, ideally B2B, I only really touch B2B. I do little bits of B2C in universities and student accommodation, but really my forte is B2B, complex industries. Business to business, for people that don't know what B2B is. So let's start with the number one factor, which is China is still one of the biggest markets on Earth, right? On Earth. So let's start with the obvious, which is China is the second largest economy in the world, over 1.4 billion people. I think about to be overtaken by the Indians. But the interesting thing is it's one of the most advanced digital consumer, I'd say for B2C, but for B2B, one of the most advanced digital ecosystems anywhere in the world. The stuff they're doing here in China, when it comes to live streaming or digital economy, this is stuff that they're slowly catching up to now on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube in the West. A lot of the stuff that happens here in China, digitally, we've been doing this for 10, 15 years. But in the West, UK, finally they're getting QR codes going. It's crazy. The last time I was there before Christmas, people were finally starting to scan QR codes. And it's like, that's what we've been doing in China for many years. By the way, if you're just joining this live stream, I'm talking about why you should still be doing business in China, and for Chinese companies out there, why you should be going abroad as well. So if you're selling B2B, let's say tech, healthcare, manufacturing equipment, manufacturing as a whole, tourism, AI, China is still a market you cannot ignore. What many companies misunderstand is China is not just a market, right? It's not just it's another beast, and it's multiple markets within one country, right? So when people think about, I want to crack the UK, they just think of it as one place. But actually, if you break it down, it's multiple places. It's north, south. There's London, Manchester. There's England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Like they're all different, you know. And where I grew up in Bedfordshire, in the UK, it's very different to Hertfordshire, right? There's differences. So with China, think about Shanghai alone is bigger than many European countries in terms of economic activity. And the middle class here in China is continuing to grow. And there's hundreds of millions of people with spending power that are not being tapped into by B2B industries in the West. So you've got Chinese decision makers in China that want to buy things, but Western companies are not identifying that. So it's a huge opportunity. China, I would say, is easier than their own countries. When I speak to British companies that are kind of got challenges in the UK because the spending power is going down, go for China. Go all in on China. Second, which I think is something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Just having my bottle of water. Is the safety factor. So if you think about what's happening in the West right now with the Middle East, as a safe market, and something that really gets overlooked by a lot of people in the West is China is a safe market. There's this element that people still think, oh, Chinese are going to copy and scam and all this kind of stuff. That happens in every country, right? There are good and bad people in every country. I've met some scammers and some people that copy my ideas in the UK, right? So it's not necessarily a Chinese thing. But I think particularly in B2B industries, there are Chinese decision makers that want to buy or invest in what you've got, and they can't copy or replicate that in China. So why would you not be all in on doing business with a market that wants to invest in you? They have buying power. And it's safe, right? There's no bombs flying around here. That's what I'm saying, right? Especially Shanghai. Shanghai, I would say Shanghai is probably the safest city in the world. Especially for women. Like women walking down the street 3 a.m. late at night, no one's going to attack you here. So I think I'd rather be in a city where I'm not having to look over my shoulder all the time. And I know they say the news is exaggerated in London, but I've never had someone try and steal my phone here. I've never had someone try and mug me here. I've never had someone kind of look me up and down and frown at me. People are friendly here. And why wouldn't you want to be in that environment? I'd want to be in an environment where people accept me, are embracing and are actually doing business. I always make the joke that Chinese don't steal phones. They don't need to. They've already got a phone, right? They're already engrossed in their phone, building the next business or money or AI. This is why I prefer to be based here, because it's innovative. Things are happening. But from a safety point of view, it's stability. Right? I travel a lot. I've been all over Europe, Australia. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to other parts of Asia. And I can honestly say Shanghai, China is probably the safest place I've ever been to. I'm not getting paid to say that. I wish I was getting paid to say that. But when you live in China, you notice something pretty quick, which is it's an incredibly stable environment to do business. You can walk around major cities at night. Infrastructure just works. Transport works. I'm going to an event on Thursday in the bullet train. I know it's not going to be late. I'm going to get to that train station. The train is at 7:30. It will leave at 7:30 and it will arrive on time. The digital ecosystem works as well. WeChat, Xiaohongshu, Douyin, Chinese websites, Baidu. That digital infrastructure, particularly with WeChat, we don't have anything like that in the West. WhatsApp isn't capable of doing what WeChat and these other platforms like Xiaohongshu and Douyin could do. Things are just organized. Things get done here. And that's why I'd rather be in an environment like here. Convenient would be the word, yes, Lily, in the live stream. So you've got less distractions. You just get on with life here. You get on with business, right? You're not moaning. The thing is with Brits sometimes, we tend to moan. I do, definitely, which I'm trying to do less. But when you're in an environment in China, people just get on with it. People get on with life. Now, compare this to what you're seeing in many parts of the world right now, right? Obviously, you've got the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. And obviously, my heart goes out to everyone there, friends and things living in those places. Europe, you've got so much energy uncertainty and economic pressure. And I wouldn't say the standard of living is increasing in the UK, right? I think my life was better in the 90s when I was a kid, honestly speaking, when I was growing up in England. And globally, we are seeing volatility, but in China, not so much. In the last few months, things have picked up. There's a new optimism here that I've definitely seen. You know, markets are moving. There's stability here, right? You've got political stability here. Things just get done. And companies don't really like volatility and instability, right? Companies like predictability. And China provides that. Whether you agree with the political system or not, from a business perspective, China offers a level of stability not afforded in a lot of markets. And a lot of other markets, they struggle with that. You know, UK is a big example, right? For doing business, it's, I would say, tougher. I would say, you know, if I can make it here in China, imagine if you're a 40 or 50-year-old CEO and you've never really cracked China before, you're from any other country that's non-Chinese, you've got a good shot. If you've got a decent B2B business and you've got customers, like, it's going to be, you know, but the thing is with China is a lot of people try and crack China in 3 months. It's not possible. It takes long-term investment. It's something that you need a proper partner here to support you. Third thing is I'm going to put this into probably 5 parts. So the third thing would be the infrastructure and speed here in China. So another reason why, if you're a B2B company, international company coming to China, or a Chinese company going abroad, but if you have this kind of mindset, is speed, right? Things move fast in China. High-speed rail networks, Gaotie, the bullet train. You've got world-class ports. You've got digital payment systems that work, and it's all secure. No one's getting hacked here, right? You've got manufacturing ecosystems. You've got B2B structures that actually work here. Platforms like WeChat that combine communication, marketing, payments, all in one ecosystem. We don't have anything like that in the West. AI, look at what's happening with robotics now. I've seen some videos from Unitree the last few days. Factory workers will be gone soon. So, you know, the level of AI that we're seeing, these robots just doing things quicker. So why would you not want to be in a market like this, surrounded by a market? You know, why would you want to be living in the Stone Ages? So for international companies, this can be a bit overwhelming, a little bit like, ooh, scary at first. But you got to understand how it works. You realize something really important when you're in China. That China is probably, no, I wouldn't, yeah, it is one of the most efficient business environments in the world to do business. Deals happen fast, things happen quickly, decisions happen fast. You know, you can't wait 6 months here in China. Things get done in 6 minutes or 6 hours. And markets evolve fast. I'd rather be in that kind of quick, dynamic, versatile environment rather than something that is, you know, not to knock the UK, but stuff takes a bloody long time to get done over there. Whereas in China, it's just like deals flying through WeChat daily. And if you move quickly, you can capture really incredible opportunities before competitors even react. So forget a lot of Western companies come to me and say, oh, Chinese competitors, ooh. If you move quickly and you have something that is the Chinese can't copy, right, then you're going to really crush it here and really build a business that is incredible. Number 4, the mistake many foreign companies make. Now, I'm going to be honest with everyone here. Some international companies fail in China, not necessarily because they didn't have a good product or because of local competition or price. It's not because, and you can't blame China, it's not a Chinese decision making. They get it wrong because of their approach, because of their positioning, because they didn't work with the right partners. They underestimate the market. They treat China like a side project, like a side hustle. And China is not a side hustle. You're either in or you're out. Or they try to run China from their HQ, or they try to run China with a local Chinese pure sales team or tiny little marketing team here in China. It just doesn't work. It's got to be you're working with a proper partner, and it's got to be symbiotic. You've got to know what makes them tick. Do you get along with them? Can they deliver the results? It all comes down to delivery. I was telling my team this today. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear sorries. We just want to deliver. So China requires local strategy, localized strategy, local presence, local platforms. You can't crack China on your Western website. You cannot win here using the digital tools or your language. A lot of Western companies will come to events here in China. I know I'm going to go to one this Thursday. I'm going to an expo here in China on Thursday. And I know that there'll be Western companies there with their booth with stuff in English. All their booth will be in English. All their materials will be in English. What you need localized strategy. You need WeChat. You need Chinese websites. You need Chinese PR, Chinese platforms, Chinese partners, Chinese team, ideally Chinese sales team. People that have got a network that are going to deliver quickly. And companies that understand this succeed. Most of them are my clients, to be honest. And companies that don't understand this and are arrogant and go against what I say, they usually struggle. I've got the case studies to back it up. So I speak to companies all day long, international companies coming to China and also Chinese companies going abroad. And you have to localize into the market that you're going into. And that doesn't just mean having a Chinese translator on your booth or having one Chinese staff member running around China sales. Like, you've got to have your number one. And it's the same for international companies coming into China or already in China, or Chinese companies going abroad. You have to have marketing in place first, your positioning first, because if you don't have marketing, if people don't know about you, then how can they discover you? So finally, part 5, we'll call this. So part 1, I wrote this lovely little script for you guys, is China is still one of the biggest markets in the world. You can go back and watch this if you didn't hear it all. Part 2 was the safety factor. Part 3 was infrastructure and speed. Part 4, the mistakes that foreign companies make, and Chinese companies. Chinese companies going abroad need to localize. They need to have the big B word, proper budgets. You can't crack China on £5,000, 50,000 RMB, or let's say 6, 7 or more $1,000. You need a decent, robust budget in place that you're looking to deploy quickly and over 12 months, not 3 months. You can't crack any market in 3 months. It's not possible. If someone can show me someone that cracked a market in 3 months, I'll be, even Lululemon, right? Everyone always uses Lululemon. It took them years. So the final part, the real opportunity, part 5. The biggest opportunity in China right now is B2B. So B2B companies coming to China. AI, yeah, great. Robotics, wonderful. But it's international companies that are B2B that are serious about China, and Chinese companies going abroad, B2C, I'd say. Chinese companies have more of a B2C opportunity going abroad and quickly. Companies that understand it's a long-term market. It's not a quick, oh, let's crack it in 2 to 3 months. Oh, let's test the market. You can't test the market here. It's not a quick win. You can't. When anybody ever says to me, let's have a win-win, a win-win is you pay money, you put in at least 12 months of work, and we start moving quickly. That's a win-win. If you commit to China properly, or any market out there, I'm talking to Chinese companies, but this is mainly about international companies coming to China. If you understand the culture, the way to do business, if you connect with the right partners, maybe me, the opportunities are enormous. But you've got to move quickly, right? You can't think, oh, I've got to speak to my budget holder, and you need to start moving quickly. So people ask me all the time, why should I be doing business in China? It shouldn't be, why should I be doing business in China? It should be, are you doing business in China, yes or no? Because if you say yes, then let's have a chat. If no, maybe it's not right for you, but you're probably not my client. So my answer is very simple when people ask me, why should I be doing business in China? Scale, stability, speed, and opportunity. But you have to approach it the right way. China rewards companies that commit, that are really invested, that show that they're not there just to take something and then leave. They want companies that are fully invested in what you're doing. And it's fun. It's one of the most fascinating markets in the world to build a business. I was just walking around at the weekend, just around the West Bund here in Shanghai, to see the displays and for the F1 that's coming up, and the vibrancy and the energy in the world. And the fact that I could walk around and it was safe, and I haven't got someone trying to reach into my pocket or sell me nonsense, right? I'm surrounded by great people that really want to better their lives. And that's the environment they get here in China. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about China, or if you're a Chinese company out there, get in touch. If you're entering China or you're operating here already, you're looking to grow, feel free to reach out, because I focus mainly on marketing, PR, and expos, but I've always got someone in my network I can connect you with. And I'm happy to answer any questions, guys. I realize I've just spoken a bit, but appreciate your support. I see a lot of likes and a lot of comments in here. Wonderful, wonderful people. If anybody's got any final questions before I kind of wrap things up, you've been a wonderful audience. And check out my latest video. I posted it yesterday on YouTube, which is on how to approach someone like me. I don't usually just do pure commission deals. I'm kind of a retainer commission deal kind of guy. But when you approach someone with an opportunity, don't just say, I do this. Give someone a proper brief, a 1 page on what you're looking to achieve. So who you are, your requirements, when are you looking to move, KPIs, your budget, what does success look like 12 months from now? What have you already got in place? Who else are you speaking to? Give the person that you're pitching to as much information as possible. The more transparent you are, the more transparent I'll be with you, and I can offer you really sound advice. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely, lovely words, guys. If anybody's got any questions at all, you can always find me. I'm everywhere. I'm all over social media, so you can always message me. I do have my own WeChat groups if you would like to join, and I have a Xiaohongshu group as well. So I have a Xiaohongshu， 我现在我说中文，我有自己的粉丝群，我有Xiaohongshu粉丝群和微信视频、微信粉丝群。如果你感兴趣加入我的粉丝群，你可以私信我，然后会 Fa Gaining Arwe Mara Honike Sali Sao Jinchu. I also speak Chinese as well. HSK 4-5 level. Conversational, but if you start throwing out the Changyu, the idioms, I may struggle a little bit. So, if you would like to join my fan groups, just message me, guys. Cool. That is a solid nearly 30 minutes for the YouTube and TikTok audience, but we've been live streaming now for 50 minutes. And if anybody's got any questions, you can always message me. But why should you be in China? Because it's full of opportunities and it's fun. And I know how to crack China. I know what's the secret, which maybe I'll talk about another day. I'll go into a bit more detail. But anyway, guys, I'm going to cut it there. Got a lot more work to do tonight. But if anybody's got any questions, just feel free to message me. Hope you all have a wonderful evening ahead. You've been a wonderful audience. Like, subscribe, share this with as many people as possible. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye. 再见. Bye-bye.